Hello.
We're the panel.
We've got a secret.
Gary's back.
Good reading today.
I've Got a Secret, presented by Cavalier, the great new king-size cigarette. Yes, king-size Cavalier cigarettes present America's #1 panel show, I've Got a Secret, starring Gary Moore.
Please, not so much you'll embarrass me. Good evening. Good evening. I might also get used to that, and I don't usually get that kind of treatment. I've only been gone 6 weeks, and I have missed you a great deal more than you have missed me, I am sure. We're very glad to be back with you again, my friends. First of all, before we do anything tonight, may I give a very warm vote of thanks to Mr. Dennis O'Keefe, who did such a masterful job of putting up with this panel while I was away. He did a fine job, and I must tell you something funny about Dennis. When we left, my family and I went on a European trip this summer, and we were just coming into Gibraltar. And it was on a Thursday morning. It was the Thursday morning after the Wednesday evening that Dennis O'Keefe had done his first show. And there I was standing on the prow of the boat along with all the other tourists, looking at Gibraltar with a great deal of thrill and enjoyment, when suddenly a fellow pushed his way through the crowd from the radio shack on the ship, and he said, "I have a cablegram for you, Mr. Moore." And I opened up the cablegram, and keep it in mind that we were just coming into Gibraltar, and the cablegram was from Dennis O'Keefe, and it said, "I have just finished my first program. Submarine will pick you up off Gibraltar in the morning." Beautiful timing, and he need not have worried. Thank you, Dennis, ever so much. Now then, are we all set to go with another edition of I've Got a Secret, a Snoopy sort of a game in which we reveal the awful truth about some very nice people? Oh, no!
Hello, boys. Come on, you're bothering. I'm very sorry I'm late. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm terribly sorry I'm late. But you know how the crosstown traffic is. Now, here we are, ready for another game. Snoopy sort of game of I Gotta See. He's back again. Oh, I didn't know. I thought next week. Forgive me. They didn't tell me. I thought they said. All I knew is
nights I can see right now. All right, if it's going to be one of those nights, then let's meet 4 of my favorite people. The panel on our show, first of all, we'll start with Bill Cullen, and then Faye Emerson. Faye, so good to see you again.
Thank you, sweetie.
Henry Morgan and Lorraine Day. That is our panel. When I say it's going to be one of those nights, I want to warn you in advance that I know less about this show tonight than you do. Because normally the panel gets here about 15 minutes before showtime. I get here 2.5 hours before showtime. Today at noon, they call me up and they say, "You come to the program 15 minutes before showtime. The panel is going to show up 2.5 hours early." And that's all they've told me about tonight's show.
Well,
so,
Gary, we know that your vacation was pretty strenuous, so we had an idea that tonight you ought to be the panel and we'll be the MC. You come and sit here, we'll go sit over there, all right?
Oh, come on. No.
You kidding?
No, you start your first commercial and we'll change places.
I don't know whose idea this is, but there'll be a meeting in the basement tonight. All right, I'll go over there, and then you're going to come over here. But before we do that, if you are a smoker, you will want to enjoy all-round smoking pleasure, the extra measure of both sides of smoking pleasure that you get from Cavaliers.
Light up. Ah, feel that mildness. Yes, feel that mildness. Taste that flavor. That's a Cavalier. Smokers say king-size Cavaliers give cigarette mildness new meaning.
Look, I've been smoking Cavaliers ever since I borrowed one from you. They do have the mildest feeling as you inhale.
And that's the place cigarette mildness counts. Cavalier smoke feels extra mild, light, and easy, and tastes so good. No wonder when thousands of smokers compared king-size Cavaliers with the cigarette they'd been smoking. 8 out of 10 interviewed said Cavaliers are milder. So try king-size Cavaliers. Feel that mildness. Taste that flavor. That's a Cavalier. Cavaliers are king size, yet priced no higher than leading regular size brands.
All right, panel.
Oh, at me?
Are you ready to play?
This is the smallest panel you've seen in a long... I'm ready to play as I'm going to be.
All right, now, panel, you're only going to get 10 questions per contestant. Now, 10 questions per contestant. May we have the first contestant, please? Now, panel, I won't give you this gentleman's name since it might help to reveal his secret. Gary, will you please close your eyes? Now, be honest on this, like we are, and put your head down.
Put my head down?
Be honest. Yeah, close your eyes, put your head down.
I'll go home completely if you want me to.
No, stay here. Now, you just hide your eyes there and don't say anything. Now, sir, if you will whisper your secret to me, we'll reveal it at the same time to the people at home. All right, the sign's away. All right, panel, you may look up now. Panel. Now, the clue, panel, is this. This concerns something he did, and we'll start with, Gary Moore.
Hadn't we better all give up before we're arrested or something?
No, you'll like this now. You go ahead.
Clue then is something that he did.
He did, yes.
I may be real wrong, but I have a feeling that this gentleman's face is vaguely familiar to me. I can't put a name to it, but the face is familiar to me. Did you ever, something that you did you ever do anything for me, sir?
I didn't do it for you. I did it against you.
That's a good answer.
Did it against me?
Yep. He did it to you.
To you.
To me, all right. Were you the only one who ever did this to me?
I wouldn't know.
I would imagine not, but I don't know.
Well, I gather it wasn't a favor of any kind then, huh?
I wouldn't think so.
I wouldn't remember it pleasantly.
Well, maybe. Now, at this time, you may.
That's a good answer.
Oh, now. Uh-huh. It's like the girl you didn't marry. You remembered pleasantly now that you didn't marry her, but at the time it seemed kind of serious.
I'm sorry, panel, but time is up.
I didn't get to ask him anything.
Well, I know. That's the way we feel sometimes. We want you to know. I'm going to tell you who this gentleman is, Gary. This gentleman is Mr. Phil Axman of Baltimore, Maryland, who flunked you in a high school course. The course was
heaven's
gym.
sake.
Well, we don't need it.
Come over here near my... I want to say that this was not the only gentleman who ever did this.
All right, now, Gary, you just sit him right next to you. There's Mr. Axman next to you.
Standing behind you, Gary.
Standing behind you, yes, standing behind you. And, Fay, I think you're next.
Well, Gary, in this next game, you won't have to ask any questions because we're going to bring on a lovely young lady who in 1936 was photographed with you for the Baltimore papers. Now, can you tell us why your pictures were in the papers together? Will the next contestant come out, please? Well, Gary?
1936.
Uh-huh.
I was 2 years old.
Oh.
1936 in Baltimore. Marge is...
That's right.
Is it Marge C. Creighton?
That's right.
Sure, Marge. Bless your heart. I'll tell you what we did, too. Marge and I, we either introduced a new dance or we demonstrated a new dance that was just being brought out in Baltimore at that time. And we had the pictures were taken in Carlin's Park, and we had our pictures in the Baltimore News Post. Right, Marge?
Gary,
Yeah.
come over here because we'd like to see you and Mrs. Hooker try this dance again after 18 years. Wouldn't you, audience?
Oh, no!
Ready? The new Carl record by Paul Whiteman, You're Driving Me Crazy.
Well, wait a minute. What? Marge, I don't remember what the dance was. Look, excuse me, Marge, it's Mrs. Hooker.
Which were the hooker boys that you married?
Hody Hooker.
Oh, very fine.
Sneak. Gary, you take Marge over there and put her, and you go over there and be comfortable. She's going to stay right with you. Put her behind there with Mr. X.
Yeah, the game's got to get going along. You can talk to Mrs. Hooker later, Gary, because it's time for our next contestant. Would you mind coming in, please, sir? No time for talk here. Now, sir, would you tell us your name and where you're from?
Dave Feinstein, Rye, New York.
All right, sir. Now, panel, would you put your head on the desk, please, and not look?
Wait a minute, let me
Head down.
Dave
Dave Feinstein,
from
Rye, New York.
Ryan, New York. That's where I live now.
That's
All
right.
How
Head
we
down,
go?
panel. Now, Mr. Feinstein, would you whisper your secret to Bill, and we'll show it to the folks of the audience at the same time? Well, Gary, panel, up. The clue is this concerns something the gentleman found.
Something the gentleman found.
Yeah. We'll start with Gary Moore.
All right. This something that you found, sir, is it something that belonged to me?
Well, yes or no?
Yes or no? I must assume that you found something that I lost.
No.
I didn't lose it?
No.
Did you steal it?
No.
In other words, this makes no sense. In other words, you found something that I didn't even know I had.
That's right. That's right.
That makes sense. We better all go to a wig picker after the show.
Panel, I'm sorry, you're not doing very well with this. Gary, Mr. Feinstein is in the exterminating business, and he found termites in your house while you were away.
Gary,
I've always known I had birds on my aerial. I never thought I had termites.
You got him, boy.
Gary, this is another special game, and I'm going to mention the names of two very prominent citizens from your hometown of Rye, New York, and you're supposed to tell me their connection with you. Their names are Roger Pugh and Al Smith.
Oh, well, that's the easiest thing in the whole wide world. When I went away this summer, I entrusted my most precious possession. Well, my most precious possession, my wife and my 2 children, I took with me. But my next most precious possession, which is my sailboat, I entrusted to 2 men who are excellent sailors because they both sail better than I do, and
That's right.
they're not here.
Yes.
All right!
But we managed to salvage a little something, Gary.
This is all I got left of my boat.
Well, we'll fix it up. We'll fix it up, all right.
Thanks a heap,
worry
fellas.
about that.
Okay.
All right, Gary. Gary, I don't like to interrupt you at this time, but I think the time has come for you to do your commercial, panel.
I've been so busy sitting over here making an idiot of myself, I can't remember what I was going to say about Cavaliers. Well, all right, subject, Cavaliers. And it's kind of an easy one. Let me just say that this is it. The king-size cigarette that gives you an extra measure of both sides of smoking pleasure. Extra mildness to feel, extra flavor to taste. And I imagine that's what you want in a cigarette, isn't it? On the other hand, why should you take my word for the superiority of Cavaliers? I mean to say, my friends will tell you that I'm an honest fella, but you may think I'm the sneaky type. So let me tell you what other smokers think about Cavaliers, which is this, that when thousands of smokers compared Cavaliers with the cigarette they had been smoking, 8 out of 10 said that Cavaliers are milder. So you try them. You try them. Feel that mildness, taste that flavor, and that's a Cavalier. Oh, and while I'm at it, I want to remind you also that Cavaliers, although they are king-sized, are priced no higher than leading regular-sized brands. And now let's get back to it pays to be ignorant. Yes?
In front of you, you'll find a blindfold. Will you please put it on?
A blindfold?
Immediately put it on.
All right, I would like to send out an emergency message to McGarrity's. Put on 5 extra places tonight so far, fellas. We'll be right around.
Now, the next contestant is a very special one, someone very near and dear to you, and you can't ask any questions of this contestant, Gary. We're going to have the contestant hand something to you, and you're to take a bite, and we believe this will suggest to you who it is. All right, may we have our next contestant, please?
Gary, reach out your hand.
That's right.
There you are.
Yes?
Take a bite.
That's it. Bite these.
It's all right.
Mint?
No, it's all right. It's all right.
Who is it?
I would... Now's a fine time to ask me who it is. It's a peanut butter sandwich. How can I go? There is only one person in the world who makes such a delicious peanut butter sandwich as this. It couldn't possibly be because she'd be too nervous to do it. Nell, is that you, dear?
All right, take your blind.
Take your blindfold off.
Oh, roll! This is one of the dearest friends I have in the whole wide world. Our whole family's lover. This is our maid, Rose. Rose is
All right, Gare. Take a couple of swallows now. And to help you chew, put the blindfold back on, would you?
I wish I were back selling neckties with Hutzlers in Baltimore.
Well, you play your cards right, Gare. Maybe we can... Now, may we have our next contestant, please? Oh, yeah, keep your blindfold on, Gary, because we forgot to show the sign. Now, contestant, the clue is that this is a sort of a common household contestant and something that, well, you always see around the house.
First, I'm beginning to suspect something now. I'm coming up with the same answer on every question. And the reason I suspect something is because normally, you see, Wednesday nights I stay in town. It's the only night in the week I stay in town. And on Wednesday nights...
Contestant, do you want to ask a question?
Yes, but let me say this, that I usually call my family at home to see how they are before the show, and I couldn't get anybody tonight. So now, since this stuff started, I'm suspicious.
Oh, I'm very sorry.
It is not my wife?
Yes, it is. That's why I'm sorry. You're ruining the whole game. All right, Lorenzi, you're next.
Gary, our next contestant is a young lady named Joan Madeo, your secretary. Would you come in, please, Joan?
Joni!
Joan has a secret she'd like to tell you. What is your secret, Joan?
I've never sat on my boss's lap.
Yes. Miss Morfitt, with your kind permission, may we help this young lady's dream come true?
Well, I'm happy to make this a matter of record. It's Joni's. Now...
Panel, time's up, panel.
Let's do more.
Time's up.
Time's up.
Take your place. All right, Gary, we have something new for you now. Put your blindfold back on. Yeah, put it on.
How did you all manage to keep your mouth shut so long on this thing? I've never known my family to keep a secret yet. All right.
All right, you got the blindfold on? All right, our next...
Wait a minute, I got it on inside out. Well, that makes
That's all right, just pull it down. Our next contestant, please. Would you? And now, you ready with the sign? Now, if you will whisper your secret to me, the girls will show it to the audience. All right, now. All right, there are 2 cards. You got one more card, I think. There you are. There you are. That's the important part. Put the card down. Now, panel, you keep the blindfold on. The clue is this concerns something they are. There are 2 of them, and we start with Gary Moore.
There's nothing left to produce except the stork who brought me. There are 2 of these folks, and the clue is what, please?
It concerns something they are.
Something that they are. Are they both of the same sex?
No.
No. Are they married?
No.
I mean by that to one another.
No, I know they're not married to one another. No, that I know.
Obviously, they have some relationship to me. True?
True.
Are they related to me in a business fashion?
No.
Socially?
Oh, yes,
Yes.
socially.
Gary, not purely socially, but there is a social relationship there.
None of my social relationships are anything but pure. Not purely socially.
No.
Socially and also in a business way.
No, there's another way besides socially.
Do these people perform some, although they are friends, let's say like Rose. Rose, I made. Is she a friend, and also does she perform some service for me? Do they?
No.
No.
No?
Right.
Well, why don't you? I need help. Are you from Rye, my present abode?
No, we're not.
You're not, gee, your voice is awfully familiar to me. You're not from Rye. Well, don't just sit there, Mason. Say something.
No coaching from the family.
Are you from Baltimore?
No.
I think originally, were you not?
Yeah, originally we were from Baltimore.
Originally, I think they were from Baltimore, Gary. I think that's safe to assume, yes.
Listen, they were from Baltimore, and they don't perform any service for me, and yet we're not really close socially. Wow.
There's another relationship beside the social, Gary, that I think you neglected.
Well, I'm not married to them, I know that. That couldn't be. All right, there's social and there's business.
That's right.
And
another bigger relationship.
Bigger than all of us?
Bigger than both of us.
Gee, I passed to my wife.
No, she has no blindfold on, Gary. She's not eligible. But if you'd like, well, fortunately for you, panel, time is up. You may remove your blindfold.
Oh, no, my sister and my brother.
There you go. Gary,
well, Mason faked me out because he was talking in a phony voice. He usually talks like this.
Well, Gary, there's one man in the whole world who really fills your cup with contentment.
It just occurred, this looks like the graduating class of Sing Sing. Somebody who I'm sorry, Henry, somebody who filled my cup with contentment?
Oh, yeah. You got a good memory. This is a man who adds to your store of high spirits.
Mm-hmm.
You're probably ahead of me. This is a man who takes you under his bosom and listens to your long, dreary anecdotes, the pointless stories. A man who's considered tip-top on 8th Avenue, bar none.
Oh,
well,
if you've got Mac McGarrity
well,
here.
of course. What's that?
Here we go, you.
Well,
Mac McGarrity came in and handed me a milkshake and said, Gary, here is your usual. It is against your religion to lie, Mac.
well, Gary, we have some other welcomers, too. You probably will remember your attorney and business manager, Bill Bratter.
Bill Bratter?
Yeah. Then there were two men wandering around the theater, the producers, Mark Goodson and Bill Todman. You may remember that from somewhere. And, Gary, there was also the cast of your daytime show. You may remember these people, Herb Sanford and
my
Clarence
producer,
Kimmel,
Herb.
and the writers, Ben Bogert and Bill Demling. And a girl named Sam, Harriet Lohr, Denise Lohr, Larry Grayson, and Howard Smith. You know Howard on the piano. Howard. Gary, sitting in the first row is the president of R.J. Reynolds, Mr. Ed Darr, who wanted to say...
Mr. Darr. Oh, yes.
And now, Gary, a little song was written for this occasion, and Howard, if we can start, we get out our song sheets. G-A-double-R-Y.
its construction. We're ashamed to admit it's a Goodson Tobin production.
G-A-R-R-Y-M-O-O-R-E. He's a pal, he's a friend, he's a doll, he's the living end. Gary Moore, that's he.
And Bill has one more.
Hey, Garrett.
Gary, wait. Hold the phone. Hold the phone.
We have one more old friend we couldn't forget. Would you come in here, sir? Or ma'am? There he is.
That's the best friend you ever had.
Sometimes even my best friends won't tell me. Zip, let me ask you something, Zip. Zip, let's bring a microphone down real close, see if you'll do it. Zip, come here. Zip. Zip. He'll usually follow you, but I guess he won't this time. Zip, come here. Zip, don't eat the Cavaliers. They're no good for you.
Hey, Garrett.
Wonderful for smoking, no good for monkeys eating.
Gary,
Garrett.
time film reading.
Yeah, we want you to, time for you to, now we know you've had a relaxing time. Now, would you do the lead into the film, please, Garrett?
What? Oh. All right.
It's about Cavaliers.
About Cavaliers?
Yeah.
Well, now let's turn our attention to a movie soundstage. Don't try to make up now. Where our favorite stars win the...
Get both sides of smoking pleasure. Extra mildness to feel and fine flavor to taste. Try king-size Cavaliers.
Cavaliers smoke feels extra mild and easy and tastes mighty good.
Yes, Cavaliers give you extra mildness where it counts, in the feel of the smoke. Feel that mildness. Taste that flavor. That's a Cavalier. Cavaliers are king size, but priced no higher than leading regular size brands.
Zip, let me ask you one question before you go. Zip, what do you think of this whole thing? Zip, what do you think? I can tell you what I think. How much time we got? We're off? No, we're not off. We're not off? Well, I'll pretend I think we are off, and I'll say it's about the nicest damn thing that ever happened. And I mean, thank you all. Good night. We'll see you.
It's sure pleasant to take it easy when you've got a pipe full of choice Prince Albert going. PA is easy on the tongue, easy to draw, and easy on the pocketbook. Prince Albert is the national joy smoke, America's largest selling smoking tobacco. So take it easy. Smoke PA, mild and tasty all the way.